Hi, let's talk about Ukraine. I was in Ukraine for about a month on two rotations as a sniper instructor, small unit tactics, and rifleman, stuff like this. So let's talk about what I saw. First of all financial aid to Ukraine needs to stop immediately. All financial aid to Ukraine needs to stop immediately. Or there needs to be appointed a person, which I would presume is personally responsible for managing that financial aid. Because what I saw made me sick. Absolute misuse, mismanagement of donated goods, donated aid, and donated finances. So let's talk about that. First of all, food. Nobody's starving there. I want you to understand this. Nobody is starving in Ukraine. Nobody. They have so much food, they are leaving it to rot. I personally witnessed this. I was stationed in south, near to in the area of Pokrovsk, Bakhmut, Donetsk, Avdiivka. I was stationed with three teams of snipers. And when I say all, throughout the whole this video, when I say all or everyone or everybody, I mean 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. It's never 100%. So, in a base where two of the sniper teams were stationed, such a misuse and mismanagement of material or food aid was apparent. I was personally throwing out about 5 kilo piece of meat that was left in a bucket full of water for 5 days. So after 5 days, I fed it to a dog. They have a full, I don't want to say cellar, but let's call it a room, 3 by 3 meters, 5 by 3, full of food. Nobody's starving there. And that food, mostly, tell the truth, mostly it's individually packaged, so it will remain in a pretty good state for a longer period of time. But all of them are actually eating of that donated food or food purchased out of donated money. That is apparent. While all the apples, chestnuts, tomatoes, everything is rotting away. Nobody cares. That is not how necessity looks like. I personally witnessed several occasions and several instances of food being eaten by rats, mice rather. Nothing was done about this. Nobody is proactive. Everybody is just lying around doing fuck all. I want to be crystal clear on this one. I don't know if it's a thing of people in general or especially of Ukrainians, but 9 out of 10 are not proactive. This war, and I say war in quotes, because this is not how war looks like. I mean, this is not how we as a Western civilization imagine war. What is there right now is territorial dispute at some instances, at best. Territorial dispute. This is not blown out war because because nobody feels the necessity of doing something. This is not how war I imagine to be. When I am threatened of my life, I will do whatever I can to get better, to get a proper gear, get a proper training, and drive Russians away. That is not what I have witnessed. 9 out of 10 people are not proactive. They're just laying around. This is the most apparent misuse or mismanagement of donated goods, not necessarily goods, but donated finances when you think about it in that regard. Because as of right now, I believe it is pretty apparent that Ukraine has no money on its own. None. Everything was donated out of Western countries. I want you to understand that Western governments have no money on their own. They're taking all that finances, all their resources out of their citizenry under various taxes and various taxations, under threat of physical violence or seizures and seizing of property or liberty. So all this material or all this aid was seized out of Western citizenry and given without any public consent to Ukraine. And Ukraine is handling it like a drunk millionaires. Each one of them soldiers, each, is getting at least 44,000 hryvnias a month. At least 44,000. In Ukraine, ordinary salary of primary school teacher is about 10,000. Each one of the military personnel is getting 44,000 a month. Most of them still don't have a radio because they always wait for somebody else to give them something. They always wait for somebody else to give them orders what to do, what to train, where to be. And if not given orders, they're just idling, stagnant, lying, sitting, playing fucking Candy Crush. That is each of a military personnel that is not fielded. If you are fielded, which means you are stationed in a disputed areas, you're getting 114,000 a month. You are balling out of your fucking mind. And the fact that a lot of you still don't have a proper boots, still don't have a proper plates, helmets, the fact that there is no thermal between a team of 5 is mind-boggling to me. Because you are balling like a drunk millionaires. Just fucking. But for all the wrong stuff. For all the wrong stuff. Anyway, back to misuse of material. I personally witnessed in these 2 sniper teams, they were given, I don't know if it was aid directly or purchased out of donated finances, but there were two thermal scopes in an armory, not on rifles. They were not zeroed. They were not unpacked. Batteries weren't fresh. Those thermal scopes were not utilized to any potential. Not higher potential that would come down to training with them, which is not happening. The training is just not happening. There is a lot of shooting. There's no training. There's no structure. And as a result of that, apparent misuse of ammunition is apparent. Misuse of ammunition. They're shooting a lot down there. Call it a training. They're not training, they're shooting. For instance, I was witnessing soldiers were given 4 magazines each to train, and they were given order to shoot. There wasn't really instructor to be speak of. It was a more of a range officer, just to watch over things. So no structure to training. Just burning out ammo. There was I witnessed this on several occasions. Burning ammo. Every day is a range day. We have all these fucking giant ass guns, and it's a lot of fun to shoot them. So let's take this 14.5 alligator and just piss out at 24 rounds. We need to zero it. Yeah, but you could zero it in 4 tops. 4 rounds. Tops. Not 24. $20 each. So, just a range day. Scar heavy. That's a weapon I could not afford. And through it, Scar heavy, ACOG on top of it. Brand new, never fielded it, was apparent. Just burned through 4 magazines of incendiary ammo, just for shits and giggles. Several boxes of 5.45 ammo just for shooting, not training. Burning out ammo. Insane, insanity. But when approached from instructor's standpoint, I was there voluntarily for free. So I'm gonna be bitching about misuse or misdirected use of finances. I'm gonna tell you about one point is they're not willing to pay for instructors. Now I don't want to bitch about me not getting paid. Let me get that clear. I mean, I would love to get paid, but I was there as of my choice, for free, as a volunteer. So I wasn't expecting to getting paid, but I also I didn't know that each one of them is getting paid $114,000 and not doing fuck all. I thought they are in war, and I thought they need help anyhow I could. So I figured I'm gonna train them. But after I witnessed such a misuse as mismanagement, I'm not going back, and I'm not training anyone for free because they're balling out of their fucking mind with donated material. And in the same time are not willing to pay instructors even a fucking gas money. I was proposed to join Ukrainian military. That is not happening. And I was proposed to join Foreign Legions, Ukrainian Foreign Legions, not the original French Foreign Legions. I declined that as well because I train both. And I saw how incompetent they are, how much training they need. So I'm not joining that force. I'm not signing myself to that part. And well, back to my staying in Ukraine. While I was staying there, and while there was no possibility, that's what I was told, to give me or provided me compensate us, we were actually 2 of us, even a gas money. In the same time they were buying complete bullshit optics. Them 2 of them thermals were lying in an armory, not used. 12 people. I was stationed at the I would say barracks, but it's just seized buildings of 12 people, and they were doing fuck all. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. For $114,000 a month. So it was apparent that not apparent. I was disgusted, absolutely disgusted of this mismanagement. So, thermos, manpower, food. So nobody's starving there. There was delivered food into one of them bombed cities. I was wondering if this is like a episode of South Park with the Barbara Streisand one, because the woman that was redistributing this aid is about 300 fucking pounds. It was little. It's anecdotal, of course, a little bit, but nobody's starving there. That is for sure. Military structure. Nobody was able to actually tell me what unit they are, and if they were, it took some hard thinking. So, what brigade, what battalion? You North Army or what army? For some reason, there's like 500 generals in Ukraine. I'm pretty sure each one of them generals is getting paid like $500,000 a month. But military structure. Military officers there, the higher ups, it is apparent. And again, when I say everybody or all, I mean 9 out of 10. It is apparent that they are not there to lead. They're there to overwatch and just check everyone. Keep everybody in check. Just overwatch. For instance, in order to get approval for training for that day, they will meet at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. It is a winter time now. It is 11th month of 2022. So at 9 a.m. they will meet with their colonel, all the LTs, to get approval for that day's missions and trainings. They're usually not getting back to barracks before 12, so let's call it 1 p.m. At 1 p.m. they tell everybody what they're supposed to be doing that day. How was this not communicated through phones and shit? I still don't know. Well, anyway, it's a management thing. So at 1 a.m. We got green light. We already ready to go. We're just waiting for a green light to hop in a car and go to the range. Now, getting approval for a range time, we needed to ask a general of the whole Northern Army to get us approved for using a range with 4 snipers. General. I'm still not sure about the military structure, how this works. Well, I mean, I know how it works. It doesn't. That's the answer for it. It doesn't. Well, so approval for the range. Now, to get to the range, you need a car. You need to get approval for the car from your colonel at 9 a.m. So you get approval for a car. Now you need to get approval for gas. Again, same meeting, 9 a.m. Your colonel gives you approve gas, so you can go to the range. It is 1 p.m. We head out to the range. It's 2 hours drive. It's a winter time, so 5:30. It's already dark. So you can imagine how much training was done that day. Now for the second day, we actually didn't even get approval from the general of the North Army, because that would take about 14 days, and I was there as a volunteer. That means every day I am paying out of my pocket for opportunity to be there. And I came there to be a better instructor and see what's up. I'm not willing to wait on my ass, paying out of my own pocket for 14 days to wait for approval for the range. So we managed to get to there, just different sides, not official, through friends and shit. But anyway, not much of a training was done. Now, for the second day, let's try pre-arrange and get pre-approved for the second day that didn't happen. I never figured out why, but it needed to be at 9 a.m. every day for the training or whatever is scheduled for that particular day. I proposed, since we got the range already prearranged, car, they need to get a car. They have steel targets, which I provided, so they have something to shoot. They have ammo, which I provided, so they have something to shoot. They need gas for the car. They couldn't get it, so I provided gas, 20-liter gas tank of gas, so they can get to the range where we can train, out of my own money. That wasn't possible because now when you put unofficial gas into official car, mileage doesn't fit. So that was scrambled as well. If I would design a structure that would be very effective in not being effective, if I wanna lose this, I would set up your military structure exactly like this. This is not efficient. It is very efficient in a not being efficient. When we actually got to the training, not necessarily snipers, we trained small unit tactics, CQB, stuff like this for most time, with my friend, with my colleague. People didn't want to be there. They got ordered to be there. Now, if your life is in danger, I presumed you would do anything. You would take any opportunity to train and be better. That was not apparent, because there is no war. A lot of paper pushing, a lot of red tape, a lot of people getting paid $44,000 a month. So anyway, people didn't want to be there. They just wanted to lie down, doing fuck all. So everybody was demotivated. Everybody's yelling around like Slava Ukraini, of course. But let's now do something about it, because if you really want it, really, this shit can be over in 2 months. But it's gonna take years. Just take a perspective of why each one of the military personnel is getting paid about 2, 3, 4 times at least than more than they would get paid in their regular job. Most of them, of course. Not all of them, most of them. So why would they want this to end? They're way better off now. If they're fielded, they're getting 114,000, which they're balling out of their fucking mind. Now there is a argument that all the money, sending of the money, payments were delayed a lot of times. I asked about this particular problem, and it seems that it really happened about 2 times. Once it was delayed about 14 days for 3 weeks, and at the second time they got paid half and another half in 14 days. So no. Another argument is they're taking care about their families. Well, I don't fucking know how big of a family is, and I'm not really sure if they need to live in Vienna. I can't really talk about this one because that's very individual problem. Might be true. Definitely not true at 9 out of 10. And 9 out of 10 is doing fuck all. If I would approach Ukraine, that's what I don't understand. I'm a businessman, right? I would approach it in a way like, here's 114,000 every month. Now show me What have you done last month? Or what have you done yesterday to earn this fucking 3,500 or whatever it is for each day? What have you done to push these Russians away? And the answer would be fuck all. Most of Ukrainians are doing fuck all. Just taking all the aid, taking all the money, not doing anything. I'm very sorry to tell you this. And it's not all, of course. I've met some really proactive, really good dudes. Artyom, up north in Kharkov. Fucking straight up dudes. The whole unit actually is. You can tell right away. Because all the guns are tinkered up. All the red dots, helmets, plates, NVGs, thermals. They're doing it. They're pushing it. You can tell right away. I've met one team south at Donetsk, Mikhail, Andrei, and Oleg. Great group of dudes, proactive. They were trying, they were fucking hunting Russians like there's no tomorrow. Like, yes, there are some. They're very few and far between. And those people deserve the aid. Those people deserve help. And all the support they can get. 9 out of 10, they do not. I'm very sorry. Now I urge you, if you are watching this video and you're a guy that's volunteered to be in Ukraine, if you were compensated in any way, you sticking your life there, you destroying your car, your gear, were you compensated at least the gas money? No, you weren't. Most likely not. And what you saw, is it very similar to what I saw? That means you are doing all the work and Ukrainians doing fuck all, most of them? Because I changed 3 stations, 3. And we witnessed this approach, very passive approach, in all of them. Nobody's doing anything. This is a trench war, and unless Western support will stop, or somebody will stand on their neck to do the fucking job, nothing will get moving. Nothing. This will take years. Years of nothing. It is a trench war. Because nobody's proactive. Could be over. It could be over very soon. Very soon. You could figure out very quickly. But why? You have a sweet spot of 44,000 a month. Why? What else? Food. Misuse of donated stuff. Misuse of man-hours. Manpower. Terrible managing skills. Terrible leadership. Medics. 87, like up north in Kharkov last month, 87% casualty rate. If 87% casualty rate would happen in any Western-led operation, everything would stop. Everything would stop. Everything would cease right there. And there would be books written about what happened for 20 years ahead. Medics are not being trained or retrained. And you can ask yourself why, because it comes down to willingness to support volunteers. I'm not there in Ukraine because I was there for a month and it cost a lot of money to be there, and they're not able to cover even expenses. So why? Nobody cares. Nobody does anything. They misuse all the money. They misuse all the manpower. They misuse all the donated goods as food and material, while they're failing to compensate instructors, even with cost of the trip. So why would I be there? And I'm pretty sure this is an instance in most of the instructors, most of the aid, that could actually do such a difference. It is quite weird because a lot of people that I met are very proud. Unfortunately, they do not have skill to back it up. Snipers, for instance. Riflemen as well. And then it ends up in 87% casualty rate. Medics. We've met some medics down there in South Donetsk. When I was leaving, my friend, he was all kinds of medics, and he's insanely skillful, insanely. So he offered to volunteer to be a medic in a field, or to be an instructor medic to make a classes for another instructors or another medics, because there were 3 in a company of 500. 3. That is also the casualty rate. Why? Well, I'm gonna finish this one. So he was declined out of full staff. He was told they have full staff of medics. Full staff, I don't think that ever happened in Western medical facility ever, anywhere. But yet, in Donetsk, we were told they have full staff of medics, and there were 3. How we, at that point, we just didn't have energy to ask more. It's just, don't care. Don't care. You want to die? Fill your boots, man. That is also one of the points of 87% casualty rate. Other than bad tactics, of course, or misuse of manpower or skills or lack of it. Everybody's waiting for somebody else to do something. Nobody's proactive. So a lot of times they got hit. They're waiting for a medic. They lack skills to do anything. It's a similar thing like when there's a car accident. Everybody's standing around with their phones and shit. They want to help. They don't know how. It is exactly the same mentality that is happening in a field. You got hit, you don't know what to do. You wait for the medic. And there are 3 medics for the whole company. So it's an absolute mess. And send in there more money is not going to help. If you ask me what I would do, I would give each one of them maybe 15,000 a month each. Maybe 15,000 a month. I would provide them with training. I would pay foreign instructors to teach them. I would change military leadership, military structure. I would apply a rule of 5. That means, at least it works in a private sector, each man can actually lead only 5 people. So you build your structure out of a pyramid of 5s. That is not what is happening there. And that way you get swamped out of work. You just can't decide. It's too many. Too much input. You're gonna get paralyzed. And it is exactly what is happening there. So that's what I would do. Well, it's a lot harder question, but what I would do to get things moving. First of all, as I see it as from a position of an instructor, that I was there. First of all, I would compensate instructors and volunteers that are actually willing to help, in order to be able to continue to help. I don't need to make money on it. I can't pay out of my own pocket. That's why I'm not there anymore. And I can teach, for instance, I can teach ordinary men with Usually they have UAR 10s. It's like this one, a little bigger, shooting bigger round. UAR 10s, even with the shorter one, 16-inch, I can teach ordinary men how to shoot men-sized targets at 700 meters within 3 days. Any terrain, any weather. I stated this several times. I presented this several times. I did this several times. But even after that, no contract was offered. So that is why you lack skills. Because if you have, I'm going a little deeper right now into the rabbit hole, but for instance, if you get skilled snipers or DMRs, you can soften up a target when main element of your attack, of your offensive, is approaching, taking down casualties, greatly reducing number of casualties. Snipers or DMRs have a bigger role. I actually went there to see how current war is, what is happening. Well, what's the most casualties out of, like what's happening there, and see the modern war, because this is not Fallujah kicking doors down. This is something else, and I needed to know as an instructor in order to know what I'm supposed to teach as a current state of affairs in war. And that's what I did, so I'm happy with that. I got paid in knowledge, so no hard feelings there. But I'm not coming back unless Ukrainians offer a pay contract, which they are not doing right now to pretty much anyone. There might be few, but it's not nearly enough to get them moving. So lack of skill is apparent. They have a lot of material, a lot of donated goods. They don't know how to use them. Alright, very sorry that I had to make this video. It's not fun for me. It is very it's a sad story, very sad story, but I could not remain silent about what I saw, because the media coverage is making it way more than it actually is, and the problem is that all the aid is taken out of citizenry under threat of violence through the whole various taxations and such. So that bothered me, because I saw such a misuse and mismanagement. So I had to say what I saw. Probably very efficiently closing any doors to any further cooperation in Ukraine, which is unfortunate, but again, this is a moral question for me. This needed to happen, because I see the same level of lies and deceit as in COVID times. You could always feel there's a lot of lies around, just a very few profiting from the situation. I see exactly the same pattern in Ukraine. It's all about money, just about money. I see the same pattern of lies and misinformation, even with the media coverage. I would like to encourage you to say what do you think. If you were there, were your experience similar to mine? What you saw? What's your feel out of it? Because 100% people that I've met, and I mean 100%, each one of them, who volunteered to do such a similar work as I did, or outright just fighting in the lines, are witnessing exactly the same scenario. Ukrainians doing fuck all to win this war. They're just sitting around, taking all the money and taking all the material, nobody's proactive. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. If there is work done, it's usually not Ukrainians, it's Westerners. And again, I'm going to state this again. When I say everybody and all, I mean 9 out of 10. I've met some pretty straightaway people, some real warriors, some lions, and I'm humbled to meet them. I'm great for them because they motivate me. I could learn out of these people. But there are very few and far between. But if you meet people like this, those are the ones that would need all the support. All right. Take care.